Yeah. Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Stay on stage. OnChain Revolution. Guns. Phone.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the OnChain Hour, and this is the last one of the year. The final day of the year is today. The final day of this terrible year. This was probably my personal worst year, especially being in crypto. It was absolutely awful in every aspect, right? Every single time we thought we were about to, potentially have opportunities. And that's what this entire ecosystem is about, is having new opportunities. There's no opportunities for us in TradFi. That is why we come to crypto. There's no opportunities to actually, get ahead of these old farts boomers, right? But crypto is different. Crypto, there is a lot of opportunity for you to potentially, one, create something amazing, two, really get ahead of the people who are lazy, right? That's what crypto is. Crypto is a lazy test. If you're able to potentially find opportunity in crypto, you win. It means you're not lazy, because it's not easy. It's one of the hardest things. There's so many chains, so many projects, so many different things happening. If you can find the opportunities, you are going to make it. I mean, think of what happened in 2024, right? If you found ordinals in the first quarter, if you found Solana meme coins in the second quarter, if you found AI in the third quarter, if you pretty much found anything in the fourth quarter, there were opportunities. In 2025, that really didn't exist. I mean, there was, the ETH, DeFi sector in the summer was a lot of opportunity. A lot of people made really good, made good out there, going into other places. I mean, especially after October 10th, with a huge liquidity crash. I mean, hasn't been any opportunity whatsoever. 2026 brings a lot of opportunity, in my opinion. Jesse from Base came out again, and he said he wants to decentralize Base. Hester Peters is breathing down their neck. So there's going to be a Base token airdrop in 2026. There's going to be an abstract airdrop in 2026. There's going to be a poly market airdrop. So there's going to be a lot of airdrops coming in 2026, because these teams, they want to decentralize their projects, because this year we're going to find out what is that deadline for you to decentralize your project before they put you in the security lock, right? Before they make you go and do all this crazy compliance stuff, right? But if you're a decentralized product, you don't got to do any of that. But in order to do that, you need governance, you need different things as well. So it's exciting times to be alive in crypto, and I do think we're going to really find a lot of opportunity in 2026. 2025, I'm so glad to kiss you goodbye. But without further ado, let's get today's show started. I'm bringing my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's going on, man? So the last day of 2025, It's been terrible. I'm so glad it's over, bro.
Yeah, I think we gotta start looking forward and stop looking into the past. I mean, that's something that it's easier said than done, especially the experience of this year. But we gotta do that because we're gonna be here regardless, right? So no need kind of moping and just kind of saying, you know what, uh, we're moving forward to better days. Somehow we're gonna make it better. I
Yeah.
think that's the mentality. And for us, it's been, looking different ways to build stuff. So I think the audience too, hopefully yesterday's episode or live stream got you guys a little motivated, just letting you guys know how easy it is to actually build in the space. And so I think that should be the focus. But of course, we have some hours left here in this not so great year,
Yeah.
and
7, 8
we're gonna finish it together with our community and our audience and all you guys that are still here. Because I'll tell you one thing: if you're still here, you're resilient. You're not someone that is just a tourist. We use that term a lot, especially when things are hot, and then they cool down and people leave, right? But you guys aren't that. You guys are someone that believes in innovation in the space, and I commend you for that because this was the toughest year to be that type of person.
Yeah, 100%. And did you see what was trending this morning? It was like a bunch of people really quitting crypto. Like an OG came out and he was like, "Hey guys, like I'm leaving crypto in 2025. I'm done with it. This is, it's
In
and
2025, it's like right now.
yeah, well, they're leaving it basically. They're not, this is the last day they're in crypto, basically, they were saying. And they're basically changing their X accounts. They're basically doing something else. They're going to go into politics or go into other aspects of how they're tweeting, right? Or how they're posting. And that was getting crazy. So one person said it, and they got a bunch of copycats,
Okay. Copy pasta.
that's why it was trending. But it was really eye-opening though. It was like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not the same crypto area that when we first came into, right? This is different now, but there's opportunity here. And if you can navigate that opportunity, you can really, really, really change your life.
Yeah, you brought up a good point about the laziness, right? Because in the previous cycles, it has been pretty simple and straightforward. It's when the liquidity cycle comes back, you go and see what the hot narrative is, the hot meta, and you rotate until you feel like you're getting close to the cycle shutting down. And now you're going to have to do a lot more research. You're going to have to figure out, why there's a lot of money that's focused on these type of companies, these type of Web3 narratives and things like that, which is the space evolving, to a more intelligent space, or at least not so lazy. But I'm here for that. I love researching. I love doing, looking at data and things like that. There's still going to be the meme coin sectors and stuff that will still be here. That's not going to go away. That's more of like, the community driven part of the space that just has too much of, its integration into the DNA of our space. So that's not going to go away. I just think that the big dollars are going to be hyper focused on, we say it every day, right? The RWA, the TradFi, revenue, these type of approaches, and it's going to be fun because we're all going to kind of learn strategies together this next year, and I'm here for it. You're the horse, which I'm not really into horoscopes and stuff. I think Patty Poo's is really into that kind of stuff.
I don't think it's Year of the Horse. I think it's Year of the Rat.
No, it's Year of the Horse for 2026.
Really?
It is. My wife is Chinese, so like,
gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, if she got that wrong, then I'm taking her Chinese.
I think she might have, but I got
to. Yeah. So
because I actually was watching a podcast. You're right. It is the horse. Where did I get rat from? So it was.
Was it in 2023?
No,
because 2024
maybe.
Was the snake.
Yeah.
We should have known.
I know.
The snake, man. Year of the snake.
But, and then it was yeah.
But the horoscope for 2026 for me at least was really solid. So I was like, okay, tell me more. Talking to my family, I was like, so I'm just
I like it, bro.
Yeah,
I was thinking it was Year of the Rat because I forget what podcast I listened to when they said it. But I was like, now I'm excited for Year of the Horse now. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So I'm just trying to take this positive mindset into 2026 and
Yeah.
leave 2025 in the rear view and, you know, not look into the past. So
100%. I want to talk about one thing here, and I purposely didn't brief you on this because I want it to be a raw conversation. But it's here at OnChain Revolution. Obviously, we're a business, we're a podcast, we're a community. What mistakes do you think we made over the course of this last year that you would maybe? I'm talking about as the business, not as you as an individual, not Shizzy as an individual, but the business as a
in the
whole.
brand.
Yeah, the brand itself. What mistakes do you think we made this year? Because I'll go first.
Okay.
I think being Ordinal Revolution going into this year was kind of a mistake. I wish we would have thought bigger and been on Chain Revolution a little longer, and then brought in more people earlier. I do think we made the change in March and stuff like that, and then we transitioned. But I think niching ourselves so small, especially the first part of this year, was kind of what kind of set us back. And we had to develop a new audience because of the change, right? So we went from a straight Ordinals audience, and a lot of you guys still rocking with us, right? But as you notice, we're getting a lot of slot, like my boy Ryan. I doubt he has any Ordinals and stuff like that, right? And so like that. So we're getting, and Stan as well. Stan, I don't think Stan was in that community fully, maybe a little bit, but he's definitely somebody who we definitely respect here. But I think not developing a more outside audience and being very niche was kind of a mistake for us. What do you think?
Sure. I mean, hindsight, everything is, it's 2020, right? And so coming out of, I think the hardest part of that transition was coming out of an amazing Q4 of 2023 and Q1 of 2024 with the Bitcoin ecosystem, with a lot of potential for, there was millions of dollars going into investment for these builders to be building and all that stuff. So, I think there was a bit of the network that we built of builders, network that we built with our community, that really kept us, loyal in that sense. And when I say loyal, I'm not saying we were not loyal anymore after we changed brands. We changed to OnChain Revolution, but you do get a sense of this space has that type of tribalism a bit, right? And I think that can spread pretty intensely, and I think we were probably spread with that, right? So the problem is that like the great 2023, early 2024, and that kept us blind a bit for the Solana bull run for that year. When Pump Fund launched in February, it wasn't right away, but like it started building momentum. You could launch tokens very easily. That whole meta was kind of, we were eclipsed by the Bitcoin ecosystem, and there was still a lot of people that were very bullish on the Bitcoin ecosystem. So I don't fault us too much for that, but if you could go and change something, rebranding probably a little bit earlier would have been a good business decision. So I can see where you're coming from with that.
What about you? What do you think is maybe a mistake that OnChain Revolution made in 2025? And it's good to look back and see this stuff.
I think this ties in with that, but I probably putting too much weight into the post-halving year, right? And also a bit too much weight into the ecosystem that blessed us, by the way. We can't forget about that. Like, like the Bitcoin ecosystem did get us going and have a show that had a solid audience and community and all that stuff. But looking back, I think that just being a bit more open-minded to the overall Web3 space and not depending so much on one event or variable, I think would have been a smart business decision. And those are things that you learn with like a specific industry, obviously business lessons as well, right? You learn that in business. You don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket, not from a monetary standpoint necessarily, but that too, but more from a focus perspective, right? Now once we did pivot, I felt like we pivoted pretty well. We covered Tau, we covered, we try to cover the virtuals ecosystem a bit, but virtuals was so up and down, it was hard to stay consistent with it. And we always have that. Well, I do at least, and I think you probably do as well. But like that kind of soft spot for the Bitcoin ecosystem, because that's kind of where it started. And there are teams that are still grinding out there, and there's people realize like the amount of liquidity that is in the holders of Bitcoin, right? So like the 1.5, almost $2 trillion of liquidity that's there. How to tap that is the ultimate question. It's almost like every time it's attempted after a cooldown, it's like a little bit more opens up, just a little bit. It's so small though, but we'll see what happens. So that's my biggest thing is not putting so much weight in the post-halving year.
Yeah, I think we're all done with the 4-year cycle at this point. I'm not looking at any past data going forward. I'm looking at what is happening that week, honestly, and what could happen next week. I mean, that's my thing now. Long-term predictions, the longest I'm going out now, I will never give a long-term prediction again when it comes to like next year or something. But I'm going to try to do 2 and 4 week predictions and stuff like that. I think that's the way to go here. That's probably my biggest regret, is trying to time the market and not really understanding time in the market. That's the biggest thing. We tried to time the market all gosh darn year, man. Like, honestly, I'm not even joking. We're like, okay, this is October.
Us and everybody else that covers this.
I know. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, like, us personally, right? Like, I'm not talking about like the outside thing. I'm just saying our mistake was probably trying to time the market and not understanding time in the market, right? And I think that's the biggest thing here. And it's just like DCA strategies, talk about that more and stuff like that. But my personal mistake that I've made this year was not keeping cash on the sideline, bro. Always wanting to go all in. I mean, that kicked my ass all year. And I know this, right? Like, that was my personal flaw this year, was just always having everything in the markets and never have any stables or even cash in the bank account to make sure that I could last, a full year or something. So
yeah, and based on the 4-year cycle strategy, I think a lot of people have that mentality, right? It's like, okay, we've been waiting 3 years for this year, so this is the time. It happens every single time we're gonna have euphoria. And the one time it decides not to do it, it's that year. And sometimes it's crazy because a lot of people talk about like how like they have bad luck with things like that. It's just like the one time it doesn't happen is, of course, whenever I go in. But it's all about evolving, I think, like with your skill set and of course, like learning. That's obviously the biggest benefit of all this, right? And just being a better individual in the space, right? Like whether it's all of it can kind of be like a well-rounded type of approach, right? So like better trader, better builder, better network, all those things, right? And like look at your personal life too a little bit, right? Not you personally, but I'm just saying for the audience. Yesterday Gainesy's video like really hit me because it was like the people that are over 30 years old this cycle are hurting the most. And you can tell because they were the ones that kind of did the all in for this year, right? They were like, okay, I experienced the last. And he's like, everybody's health is down. Everybody's mental. They're like completely they have mental illness. Like everybody. And I felt like he was projecting a little bit of internal feelings as well. We know that Gainesy has had millions of dollars in the past because he's been a big trader. But, even big traders are struggling right now, So that's the big, I think, take from this is like, okay, 2025 was the year that you got beat the hell up. You let yourself slide with your physical health, your mental health, and your monetary health, right? 2026, the year of the horse, that's where it changes in this very moment, right? And I think that it's contagious in all parts of your life, right? If you start going to the gym more consistent, and I'm saying this from someone that only plays golf right now, so I need to go to the gym and work out and start playing ball again, pick up basketball. That's actually one of the best ways to stay in shape. But yeah, so I'm ready for this new chapter.
All right, so let's get into our resolutions. What's your resolution for this upcoming year? I'll let you think about it for a second. Mine is, I want to do the challenge where it's like 1 push-up, 1 sit-up every day. So tomorrow we'll officially start. I'm gonna do 1 push-up, 1 sit-up, 1 jump jack. By the end of the year, I'm gonna hold this, right. I'm gonna be able to do 365 push-ups, sit-ups, and all in one session. That's my goal, my physical goal, right? My goal here is in crypto is to survive, figure out ways to create more income, figure out ways to get more Tau. I think is one of my biggest things. Get more Asia Hustle, get more Merlin, get more, some of the stuff that I truly believe in, and figure out ways to create more revenue. That's my revolution. I mean, those two things is trying to get in physical shape. I want to lose about, right now, sadly to say, I'm about 250. I want to get down to like a minimum 215, 210 by the end of this year, and potentially, 10x my net worth, bro. That's kind of my 2 resolutions. What about you?
Yeah, I like the push-up and sit-up regimen. It reminds me of Herschel Walker. That guy like literally didn't lift actual weights forever. He was just doing like calisthenics, right? And we know how crazy he is. But yeah, so a bit similar, right? I do want to build something this year that is really positive, a positive to the space. It doesn't have to be like a huge $1 million project or anything like that, but something to where it can benefit the space, and of course, that will in turn benefit me. But yeah, I want to bring something positive to the space. I am going to focus on my health this year. Coming up year, something that I feel like is I put definitely towards the end of my priority list, right? And that goes for mental and physical, right? So focusing on that, I think it's the first thing, because if you don't have that, under control and in a good situation, everything else will suffer, I think, right? And of course, like building our community even stronger this year. I think that is something that we can do better on, right? Is building our audience and community and really having that kind of fellowship type of feeling with them. I think that will be good, to start off with.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to our guys here. You this, bro. You got this, bro.
You got this, yeah.
Key. 100%. Smug Toshi, my guy. Appreciate you, Patty Poo. Webdro is here. Shout out to Webdro. He said, start with pull-up bar. I gotta get a pull-up.
Dude,
where can I put a pull-up bar?
I'm gonna tell you something. So I went on this kick in 2013 or 2012, 2013. I think. Anyways, I went from like 220 at the time. I was younger then, so 220 was my big weight, and then I went to like 185. But I definitely cut my calories. But the pull-up bar, I went from like no abs to like 6-pack, like defined.
Pull-up bar?
Pull-up bar. But obviously, like I said, the calorie that helps a lot, right? So that's the first part. But pull-up bar, and if you do, the right type of sit-ups and crunches and stuff, but the pull-up bar, bro, is probably the best for the abdominal region, and you work out like your back too, because you're pulling your it's one of the best when it comes to like not weights.
Webdro says doorway pull-up bars. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. Myself says Bitcoin actually followed the 4-year cycle pattern. I mean, he's right. The top was October. It was supposed to be if the 4-year cycle was supposed to be October, because you got to remember the halving happens 1 month.
Bitcoin wasn't the problem this year.
Bitcoin had a 4-year cycle.
Yeah,
we have to admit that, right? Because it did. I mean, it went double its previous all-time high. If you look into how the gains work, it's
the tricky thing about that though.
So
the tricky thing about Bitcoin this year was it in the previous cycles it was considered pretty risk on, like from everybody. This year it wasn't as like it was more of an institutional product that you always talk about, right? So I feel like it slipped in with, S&P, gold, NASDAQ, you know what I mean? And I think that's why where he says, altcoins on the other hand, altcoins always paired with Bitcoin before. This year, that's where the separation was. And it wasn't altcoin separating saying buy Bitcoin. It was Bitcoin saying, you guys are nasty. I want to stay away from you.
100%. Albert says, wait, how tall is he? I'm 6'1". Yeah, 6'1", 250. I don't know. Is that obese? I don't know. It might be.
I mean, we're almost exactly the same size. Like when people saw us in New
Yeah.
York and in Tennessee, they were just like, "You guys are like same size, basically."
Yeah.
Which we are.
I feel like a giant in the crypto space. Everyone's
Well,
so short.
yeah. I liked Nashville because I felt like we got to meet a lot of people there, like Raul and stuff. He was really he's a small guy, but really awesome, really nice guy from Fluid.
100%. 100%. All right. Let's kind of get into so we have a lot of cool stuff to get into today. Me and Yagobi are going to be talking about a lot about this year. So today we want to wrap the 2025 up in a bow. So we're going to be getting into that. But I want to get into one thing first, and this is something that we talk about every end of the month, right? Which is the coin glass thing. And let me kind of So yeah,
wow.
So this is kind of what it looks like for the year, right? So January plus 9%, February minus 17%, March minus 2%. Nice April 14%, May was 10%, June was 2%, 8%. So we had a great spring and summer, right? Absolutely amazing. There was no sell in May and go away. It was sell in July and go away because then we have a negative 6%. And we have 5%. So these two are kind of a wash, right? About negative 1% for these 2 months. And then it got bad. Minus 3% for October, 17% for November. And then it does look like we're going to end red. We will have to get over 90,000 to actually finish this green. But the year's in a bow, man. It was not what we expected. But what do you think for December here? I think ending red is good. I kind of want to end red. I would like to dip down a little bit.
It's the theme of the year, right? Yeah. Well, theme of Q4, at least we could say. Yeah. 3 out of 4. I didn't expect that. I did not expect that at all. I mean, it's a bit scary. And this is another reason why I feel like it's different. It's different this year than any other post-halving year. I mean, just go look at because if we're going to count, well, okay, let's say that this is the pre-bull run year, right? Like some people are saying, right? 2020, 2016. Look at 2020, the end of it, right? You had 3 out of 4 green. 2016, 4 out of 4 green. So if that's the case, then I'm worried of 2016 or 2026, I should say.
Well, most people we're saying 2019. Raul Powell and into the what's his name, into the cryptoverse, whatever his name was, Ben Cohen. They're saying this year reminded them of 2019 when it came to monetary policy.
Okay, monetary policy. So that's pretty unique then, because if you look at because you could look at 2015, and 2015 has a beautiful Q4 as well. So, but I'm not looking at historical trends anymore. What I just said, I'm like throwing that out. Now I'm just saying it's different. So I don't know what to expect for 2026, and I'm not going to try to anticipate too much and play it with a month by month situation, because I think we will know if we truly go into a euphoric 2 to 3 months time frame, right? We'll know.
I'm actually kind of thinking that this year was 2019 when it came to monetary policy, right? So look at this. Look how similar this is to this year, right? 2019. So obviously 5%, 1% could get lower tonight. Look at 70%, 70% in the Novembers. Right, and then you do have these 2 months. Let's just say you combine these 2 months together, it is about a negative 3.
Oh, it was definitely worse in 2019. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, just combine these 2 months together, right? It's about negative 2. So if you combine September and October, the last 4 months are pretty much the same.
Yeah, I mean they are for 2019, right? And let's just see, how Q1 goes with 2026. That's my new approach, and it's so hard for me to not look at that kind of stuff because, like I told you, digital marketer for over 10 years, multiple different companies I've worked for, right? That is what we go off of, especially like when your marketing is trying to increase sales for Ford or these big corporations. You go off of historical trends of every time frame, like the most recent, the last quarter, the last month, year over year. You know what I mean? And when I see data, I'm just automatically naturally drawn to it. Say, okay, the data is telling me this. I have to throw that out of the window for a bit until this new way of our industry is going to be.
Yeah. 100%.
And then it builds back up.
It's hard, dude, because we've always went over past data. But maybe the data we're looking at is wrong. Maybe we have to go at monetary data because so far. Maybe it's go off the
that
DXY.
obviously
Maybe
had a huge impact on our space, but also perceive like what's the perception of our space,
Yeah.
because they split our space up this year for the first time, where Bitcoin was looked at as, okay, this is safer.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
it's always been safer, but like this is like a class of its own, so we gotta, that's why I say whenever we go into this next era of Web3 and crypto, we got to see kind of how the rules of the table have changed, right? It's like going from playing Texas Hold'em to Omaha, right? You use 4 cards in Omaha.
So many more cards. I've seen it being played. I never played it.
Because you can use any of the 2 pair cards, but you got to learn it, right? So that's the whole deal.
100%. Stan says, "Is pizza healthy?" Well,
I ate a whole box yesterday. 2025, bro. You guys.
It's the last day of the year, bro. So I'm gonna be starting carnivore again. I've did it before, and I lost like 40 pounds doing it. So I'm gonna start carnivore tomorrow, including the my new thing. But no, if you stay, dude. People tell me if you just stay away from bread, meaning pizza dough, bread, wraps, like if you stay away from bread and just eat the other shit, you'll lose weight easily. Bread, is of course, causes the problem. But I love sandwiches, bro. So like here in Philly, we have hoagies, and it's like it's our biggest thing, and I fucking love them.
It's math, though. At the end of the day, it's literally calories, right? Like you could eat bread only, and if you count the calories and stay under there, you'll lose weight. But like, do you really want to be that weird guy? Because I was that weird guy in 2012 whenever I got into really good shape, and I would go to like an event that was serving burgers, and I was like, oh, no bun on my burger, and I'm just gonna put lettuce around it, and everybody's like,
dude, lettuce wraps were like the biggest thing. You were early to that.
Yeah.
I see that in restaurants now, lettuce wraps.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
True.
So myself depends on how you make the pizza. I mean, dough is dough. I mean, unless you use cauliflower.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like how much dough are you putting into it, right? How much? And then the calorie count at the end of the day.
Yeah. Albert says he is 6'2", 190.
Okay.
Fudge, bro. Like I gotta lose 60 pounds. He says, "I'll do it, bro."
That's the ideal weight for 6'2".
190. I don't look. All right, I look like a crackhead if I get under 200 pounds. Because like I'm just built big. I think you're probably the same, right? So like, for me, I think 215 is kind of my goal weight. But yeah, let's get away from that stuff and let's kind of get into today's show here. So I sent you this early, so we both had time to kind of go through this and kind of give our opinions on this. And there's no right or wrong answers. This is just our opinion. And I'd love for you guys to play along with us. We're going to be doing 20 questions, and let us know your opinions. And if I missed them, the comments, just let me know, Yagobi, if you see them as well as we're going with this. So, okay, first question. In your opinion, what's the biggest winning crypto asset in 2025 and why?
So this one was a little tough because I wanted to make sure that, like, I did some pretty good research on this too. Yeah. When I think right off the top of my head, I think of projects like Hyperliquid, and then I think of BNB this year that really drove to an all-time high. And so I feel like Hyperliquid, the reason why I thought of them was because they really, in 2024 and 2025, right? So they put themselves in this special group, right? To where they won't be forgotten. They're always they're in people's mind share. So I think from that perspective, they do. And then BNB just really was the biggest winner of the blue chips. But when you look at the analytics, Kita Network, which I was kind of like, okay, and I think you mentioned they're on base. They actually had the largest gain this year. And it makes sense because they do RWA. And when we go over the categories, like RWA is the top. And we're kind of like, okay, yeah, like the RWA, I get it, institutions and stuff. But that's the thing, is that these type of projects, they're not sexy to crypto Twitter, because crypto Twitter wants the fast, right? So if I had to pick one from a brand perspective, all that stuff, I would say Hyperliquid probably run one, just because they're in people's mindset from a native kind of crypto. But I don't know too much about Kita. But what about you?
Yeah, for me, I think this one was pretty easy. Zcash, and the reason is the mass adoption of Bitcoin OGs. You know what I mean? Like we could talk about the price, but the impact of having this new administration being kind of lenient, and Zcash like less than $20 last January, going all the way up to, I mean, it hit $700, and now today it's around 500, right? So I think Zcash for fundamental and price.
It's going to be interesting to see how Zcash responds once the market kind of gets back, because that's one that a lot of chatter has been about how it was manipulated by a lot of these big KOLs, some of these OG Bitcoin KOLs as well, and just OG Bitcoiners in general. And I think it was more about, taking advantage of this run up with privacy and all the KOLs getting together to push something while the market was bleeding so hard, right? But because of that push, it might now just be in the conversation for a very long time, so that's kind of like that Hyperliquid situation, where Hyperliquid was brand new, Zcash was old, but then once you get thrown back into like the conversation of like number go up, you stay there for, like, look at Doge, from 2020, right? And so what does Zcash's team and community do with this? Because I think that's really where they either take that next step, or they're just kind of like one of these legacy coins that has a decent price and decent market cap, or good market cap, and they'll just kind of truck along and be in the background.
Yeah, and the biggest thing with Zcash was everyone always said, well, it's going to get stomped on by government, so don't hold that. It's all the exchanges are not going to allow you to sell it there. You're not going to find liquidity for it. It's a dangerous asset to hold. That all changed, right? That changed completely. So, all right, question 2. In your opinion, what's the biggest losing asset of 2025 and why?
Yeah, I mean, I got to go with what Thread Guy said here, Melania. And I feel like it was the worst attempt and success at extraction, because it was right after the Trump coin. And you're seeing the Trump coin get to like 20 billion, 30 billion. So everybody fell for that trick, right? And I mean, it's basically, a bunch of hype that I think there was a lawsuit that got drawn up with that and all types of stuff. But it was a part of what I feel like wrecked the retail chances of retail kind of coming back in, because like if it wasn't the Trump coin, it was definitely Melania and then Libre and stuff like that. So that's my biggest loser.
Yeah. I'll get to mine in a second. What Stan says for the biggest winner, he says pump. I'm sorry, man. I can't see that. And then for his biggest loser, he says WorldFi.
World Liberty Fi?
World Liberty Fi. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think World Liberty
Fi. Too early, I think.
Yeah, and plus there's gonna be like a long-term type of, they have USD1, there's a lot of stuff in there. So I think now Pump, I will say that it, probably not the biggest winner of 2025, but potential, because they are hyper focused on buying the token back and trying to pump the actual token.
Yeah, 100%. For me, it was Sonic, and this was just personal, right? Because I just had this weird thing with Phantom. Phantom migrated to Sonic this year. I was so bullish on it, right? It got up to $1, and today it's sitting around 7 cents, right? It was Andre Kranji, the father of DeFi. I love Michael Kong. They got a new CEO in there they're putting an office in New York. And it's been one of those things where I think this team just has to sell down. I don't understand this price action. No one believing in Andre no more is weird. So the biggest loser for me, and like I said, this is a personal thing for me, because like I'm really bullish on this team, is Sonic.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of expectation for that chain, and it just didn't hit. It didn't hit. I mean, there was a bit of, I guess, focus on it, and some of the coins ran, but it was just like everything else this year, though.
Yeah.
Like nothing was sustainable.
It got hit the hardest, though. I mean, we're talking, it's 50% down from its bear market low of 2022, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. All right. Which crypto narrative do you believe truly won 2025? Just talking about the narrative as a whole.
So I don't believe, I know, because we look at it on CoinGecko and stuff. It's RWA, and they did it in the most effortless, quiet way possible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, RWA has been such a buzzword with crypto natives and Web3 natives on crypto Twitter and all this stuff. institutions made it actual reality. And the reason why it's not being talked about a ton is because crypto natives still have their same mindset. It's the instant gratification, right? And they don't want to get into RWA stuff. But money will push that continuously to be the main sector, and that seems to be what's happening.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. I didn't even think about RWA when I was doing mine. But you're probably right. It probably is the biggest winner, but like I just don't see the opportunity for us, you know?
That's
in
what I
RWA.
just explained, though, right?
Even long-term opportunity. When you know what I mean? Like for me, when I was doing this, I picked privacy, obviously, because privacy got that, got that go ahead. It's like, okay, go ahead. You guys can build privacy networks now and stuff like that. And X402. I personally love X402.
So payments.
I think that, yeah, I think payments is something, the biggest thing, because you got to remember X402 was created in 2025 and privacy was okayed in 2025. So for me, I could have picked
okayed for
ones
now. Okayed for now, right? Depending on
Yeah, I guess you're right.
how good the privacy tech can be, because I mean, you got to imagine that these world governments are not going to be okay with it. They're just not going to.
Yeah, for sure. And Stan says AI. I mean, you could definitely say AI in that one too. So, I think we're on. Believe in Tree. Got that one. Got
4.
That one. 5, right? 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which crypto narrative do you believe failed in 2025? I got mine.
So I think the easy one to call out is NFTs. I think that's easy, but that's too easy. That's like it's 2025, 2024. But at least in 2024, like ordinals were kind of strong, right? I think that's the easy one. I think from a Web3 approach of putting out I think ICM, and I say that because like the Web3 effort, and I'm talking about builders that have been here for a while or are very just native, not the corporations, because I actually think that they're probably the ones that are going to get it right.
Yeah.
But the Web3 natives that try to push really hard believe complete collapse, going from, launching I think they launched their initial token on Pump Fund too. I forgot what the token was called, but the Believe,
right? Yeah.
No, they changed it to Believe. They eventually migrated it to Believe or
what
whatever.
Was his name? It was his name, wasn't it?
Launch token or something, maybe. Ben Pasternak. No, he didn't. So I was really bullish about that because this guy came from the Web2 world. Had a lot of investors from the VC world, and I was like, he's the right guy to kind of lead it. He was absolutely the worst person to lead that narrative, right? And so I think ICM, but I think that changes. I think ICM becomes something huge in our space eventually.
Yeah, no, I agree. For me, with this question, which crypto has I believe narrative failed? Yeah, so the narrative, for me, it was meme coins. I think the meme coin narrative completely changed. I think that it's just not what it used to be. I don't think this comes back anytime soon. I think because right now you got to think of the biggest meme coins technically that's really running right now is White Whale, which is basically a creator coin,
and
right?
New.
And then and it's you know what I mean. So it's like meme coins in general of what we funny name, funny image. In my opinion, I want to leave that in 2025. I don't really want to take that out. I want something to grow from that area, whether it's
IP.
IP something.
I think
right?
IP would be so good, but the problem is that people will say, well, and I think IP with some of the companies that own the IP pushing it, but people are gonna be like, well, that's not going to give us a fair chance because they're probably going to do a launch to where it starts at like 10 million. But I mean, otherwise, like you're going to continually have this issue of thousands of tokens being launched and stuff. So if you look at the percentage gain and loss, though, like meme coins actually performed pretty good out of the ones that sucked, right? Like you and I looked at that the other day, but I think where it plugs into this is it probably wrecked like the space overall, had the worst like negative influence on our space.
Dog down 90% from all-time high. Peanut down 99% from all-time high. Chill Guy down 99% from all-time high. These are all created in 2025, right? Like 90% of the meme coins that were all like chilling. Well, not us, but that all these KOLs were chilling at the beginning of the year. They're all down 99%.
Yeah, I mean they are.
What project or asset do you think owned the conversation on CryptoX? Which one was just like CryptoX the most talkative about?
I think it was probably Trump coin initially. That lasted for a long time, and but you could say hype as well.
Yeah,
if but I would say Trump coin.
I have Zcash and BNB. I think I've seen these two more than any other ones, right? I couldn't pick one. I wanted to pick one because it's only supposed to be one, but Zcash and BNB. I mean, these two. I mean, from everybody showing like, oh, I got BNB at $2, like Francis does, right, and everyone else, and Zcash and stuff like that. So for me, it was Zcash and BNB.
Yeah.
Okay, which project or asset do you think surprised the market most in 2025?
Well, I think probably the narrative of RWA stuff, right? So that kind of stuff is surprising, and it surprised people probably late like us too, right? Yeah, so I would say something in the RWA space probably surprised the space the most. Zcash probably actually, because it popped out of nowhere. I changed mine to Zcash. I feel like that was the one that like really popped out of nowhere. It's been around forever. It was like if you had to pick one that was the Doge moment, it was Zcash this year.
For sure. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, Zcash probably mine as well. Actually, which project asset surprised you the most? I actually have put in here meme core and mix, because
meme core,
which is the
they
big
did pop
that
out
we
of
see
nowhere
every single day. You know what I mean? Like, and when we first saw that, I was like, this is a pump and dump, right? But it survived, and it
survived in the top 100.
Yeah, yeah, for
How
sure.
just survived. It's been in the top 100, so it's pretty crazy.
Number 7, which product or asset do you think disappointed the most in 2025? For me, it was easy. It was Cardano. I think it was one of the. I mean, I could say Sonic here as well, but Cardano. Most people in the timeline would say that.
I think Solana, and people might be like shocked that I'm saying that, but you got to remember where Solana was in Q4 of 2024. Hit an all-time high, and then it's carried majority of the volume that's happening on chain, right? So it just hasn't performed like BNB. BNB outperformed Solana for sure this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, price action and everything, and adoption. I think BNB really got adopted this year. Which sector do you personally think performed best when it mattered? So what sector do you think performed best when it mattered? For me, ETH beta plays. I mean, when ETH was showing strength, the beta plays were when it mattered, when they needed to run. The beta plays outperformed everything.
Like Shiba Inu and Pepe.
No, we're talking about Aave, Maker, like all the big DeFi protocols and stuff like that, and even in stuff like that. I mean, I think they, the stuff that really needed to move when ETH moved to kind of show, hey, you know what I mean? There's strength here. I think that was for me the biggest eye-opening moment.
Well, I kind of looked at this a little bit different than just price. So I think the stablecoin sector really shined this year because and it had a lot to do with infrastructure and regulation and stuff. And so like they probably got the stablecoin sector for sure got the most work done in terms of setting up products, setting up infrastructure and things like that. So I'll pick that.
100%. Let me see what the comments are saying here. We got Stan says Atom. Yeah, you can definitely go Atom. You can definitely go with DeFi. Yeah, 100%. Myself is just, he's my Atom T portfolio is down bad. He's just, I love myself, man. Shout out to you. Okay, I think we are on 9. Which sector do you think performed the worst when it mattered? So when it mattered, which sector do you think actually performed the worst?
When it mattered, NFTs, You know, NFTs definitely. NFTs are just kind of the easy one to beat down in those type of questions, right? Because it's just hasn't happened, and it's at the end of the risk curve, though. So that's another thing that I think people got to realize, that they say, well, 2020, this cycle did have a bull run. You got to have some sort of like energy coming from that kind of tail end of the risk curve of your space, and it just didn't happen, right?
Yeah, 100%. For me, it was Web3 gaming, though. I think Web3
I feel like
gaming.
that's been gone.
No, but I think this was the year for it, right? With the matter of like Clarity Act coming in and just stuff like that, and being able to have NFT marketplaces in your games. And I think and the funding dropped 90%. I think gaming I mean, definitely. I think this year really mattered for gaming, and I think it failed.
So do you think the Clarity Act and other infrastructure stuff? So like I said, I think stablecoins definitely got work done, a ton of work. You got to hand it to them.
Yeah.
But the other parts of our sector, I almost feel like the Clarity Act it's still not live, by the way, right? It's not yeah. So it's almost kind of like this year was to try to get all that stuff pushed in and all that stuff set and all that stuff. And it affected a lot of those sectors that, the Web2 companies could be ready to deploy their teams and all these things. So it's almost kind of like, yes, this was a year to set the foundation, but stable coins was the main focus. And I think we got to like shore that up early next year, the Clarity Act, and get all that stuff out of the way. So these companies that do have, capital to put towards making this part of that industry, the gaming and, the e-commerce and all this stuff, they can start actually like putting effort and capital into it.
Yeah, but Hester Pierce gave everyone the green flag. She said there's going to be enough time. You're not going to need Clarity Act's not going to drop tomorrow, and then you're not going to have to. She's going to give you enough time. So right now, she's given everyone, hey, it's a playground. Do whatever you think is best, and we'll worry about the clarity stuff later. And none of these companies, even have the funding anymore to create a good product. So yes. I think again with this gaming thing is now when the Clarity Act hits, the Clarity Act doesn't help Web3 gaming. Clarity Act helps Web2 gaming come into Web3 and actually.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's why Web3 gaming failed. I think Web2 gaming is coming in to take over.
Yeah. Okay. So, but then they haven't come over yet because those type of companies need stuff in writing for their lawyers and stuff like that. Yeah. Sure, you're giving us the green light, but we're not going to waste, $10 million on creating this whole new team and this whole new whatever, you know what I mean? Like investing like millions of dollars into creating a studio or not creating a studio, but creating like the efforts towards, onboarding and focusing on that or whatever, right?
I think they all have it. I just think they're not ready. You got to think these gaming companies, dude, they work 6-7 years on something before they even let the public know. I think they're all building this stuff in private.
Well, they haven't released it.
Rockstar's not coming out. Well, everyone's waiting to see what Rockstar is going to do. Everyone's waiting for
and Rockstar's probably waiting for the Clarity Act, because they're like companies that are like that. They have like, the lawyer teams and stuff like that, which is fine. They're not in a rush. They are already making billions of dollars.
That's what I'm saying. Web2 is not in a rush to build this out, but I think Web3, they've messed up. They've can't come to the table to play. I mean, they had an opportunity to lead the space, and they're gonna fall way behind.
How they say sometimes it's like you're just too early. And I feel like a lot of these Web3 companies that did gaming last cycle, at the end of last cycle, 2022 to now, they were just too early. Some of them raised a lot of money, but they probably burned through a lot of that runway that they had from 2022 to now.
Yeah, for sure. Number 10, which crypto X account or personality do you think had the biggest influence in crypto in 2025? For me, it was easy. I think it was Arthur Hayes. I feel like this guy ran the market. Like it was like whatever Arthur Hayes said went, right? He was bullish on Athena at the beginning of the year. Athena ran. He was bearish on Athena. Athena dumped. He was bullish on Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid ran. He was bearish on Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid dumped. This guy owned the market all year.
Yeah, I feel like he probably deserves that. But I feel like he came. Did he come out a little bit later in the year? Like maybe about. Was he pretty much just posting constantly throughout the year.
When ETH was dumping, he was like, "You guys are idiots! Like, this is the greatest opportunity in the world." Like, I remember talking about it. Like, he was predicting all-time high. I mean, he was wrong a lot of his predictions, but
Yeah,
I mean, he was right when it mattered. He made a lot of money.
yeah. So
He saw it at the top.
I think Arthur Hayes definitely had probably the largest influence, but the biggest brand growth, I think we got to hand it to Thread Guy probably.
Yeah, that's
brand growth, like his
Yeah.
personal brand, but he's a little different, because he does, streaming from different platforms and all types of stuff. So, you got
He's mainly
Stan
a
say,
Twitch guy, though.
yeah, you see
Ooh.
Stan say Tom Lee. Yeah, I don't know if I consider him a, X account, yeah, X personality, but he definitely had a lot of influence, and he still
For
does.
sure. This next one, I think we can both agree on this one. I mean, which crypto X account or group do you think hurt the space the most? I mean, I think it's easy. What do you think?
James Nguyen.
James Nguyen. Yup, 100%, dude. I wrote that capital letters on my chart here. I mean, there's no competition. He was the worst thing that ever happened to crypto Twitter in the last
it's so funny because he tried to get people to. I mean, people did donate money to the ETH address.
I donated $15. So.
Yeah, because he just put his ETH address out there saying, if you want to send to me, then this is just you sending me money. That was when it first started. Whenever he was posting his trades and stuff, he was getting liquidated every single week, and then he caught on fire for a month, and then he expected everybody to kiss his ass. It was funny.
Yeah. Myself said Wintermute did a really pretty good job extracting. You got to understand, Wintermute's just a business, right? If it wasn't for Binance, Bybit, Coinbase, Robinhood, and all these places using them as a market maker, they wouldn't be extracting. If they had no Bitcoin to sell, they're not going to just dump on the market. They have nothing to sell. You can't. I want to go into 2026 not blaming Wintermute, and we have to start pointing fingers at the exchange mafia.
I would love to see their business model, though, how much they charge fee-wise to their clients, because like you said, Binance and Coinbase and all these other exchanges are their clients. So, I'm sure that
I looked into this off arbitrage. So Coinbase just tells them how much they want to get for it, and they make the difference. So if they're able to sell it for more money than Coinbase makes, they make the difference. If Binance wants to make Binance,
there you go. So then they do.
This, right?
So then they do cause more pain.
Well, no, not if they're trying to get more money for it, right? So if Binance says, "Hey, we want to get 90,000 for this Bitcoin," right? So then they have to go and get the price up to 90,500, so they can make a profit.
So basically, pump and dump it.
I wouldn't say pump and dump it because they don't have influence in the market when it comes to pumping it.
Well, number go up.
Well, they have capital to buy up.
Well, their capital is Binance's capital and everybody's capital, right? So
yeah, well, they give, that's the thing too. They give them dollars and say, "Hey, I want to get the Bitcoin at 87." So they have to just kind of wait or dump it down from. Yeah. So they're using other people's.
You have to understand how sophisticated these algorithms are. They're so sophisticated to the point to where there's zero error with tons and tons and tons of code that just make sure that the exact price is being hit and all these things. So, I mean, it's obviously, easy to point the finger at them because they're the ones who sell it. They're the ones who buy it, whatever the situation is. So, but there is a science behind everything that's happening. And the exchanges are sending them the crypto to sell down or to buy. So they're taking directions and then they're doing their thing to be able to make their edge, their money.
100%. What's your favorite project launch in 2025? For me, it was Zora. I like Zora. I think the Instagram vibe with
Did it launch in 2025 or not? It didn't launch in 2024?
No, it launched in January. I think that was to me, I mean, I can be sure about it, but I'm pretty sure if it wasn't, I'm pretty sure it was 2025. But maybe not the platform itself, but the coin. Let's see. But yeah, I think I just love the Instagram vibe of it for sure. Yeah, it launched in April of 2025.
Interesting. It feels like it's been around a little bit longer than that. What is the favorite product launch this year? Man, there's product launches this year, but I just don't. I think a lot of
Yeah.
them fell flat. You know what I mean? I mean, you had the plasma chain, you had Monad and Spark. Those basically are
What's
just
I thought you would say Monad for this one.
no, because I mean they just basically have look like a VC chain that has good product, but VC chain in terms of
Yeah.
like money extraction and stuff, right? So that sucked for the space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
yeah, and then like Abstract was fun, but
Yeah.
it just lost steam. Plasma. See, I feel like these type of projects, if they had launched in like a liquid environment, they would
I
have been
know.
huge. They would have been huge,
Monsters.
right? So it's unfortunate
They would have
that
been dumped down then eventually, though,
yeah,
right?
but like they would have hit some crazy highs, right?
That's
So
true.
yeah, it's really hard for me to think of a product launch. You know, you had the BTC Fi for staking for Merlin that came out this year, I think,
Oh,
but
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
a
That
small
yeah.
one, right? You know what I mean? But it's still starting to make some noise. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, honestly, you probably have to just kind of close your eyes and pick. I mean, at this point, right? Maybe the creator fees situation,
Yeah.
Zora, CCM type of thing. I could go with that.
What's your least favorite product launch? I just put Trump coin for this one.
Dude,
I just say
same. Same. Like in for the people that experienced the Trump launch, like we heading into 2025, you have to remember expectations too. Everybody's portfolio started to bleed. It didn't matter what coins you had
Yeah.
into it. When Trump coins started getting to 5 billion, 10 billion,
Mhm.
15, 20, whales were like racing to get out of Cardano,
Mhm.
Solana, uh, Merlin, anything, anything, Bitcoin to get into the Trump coin. And it was a surreal moment because I don't think I've experienced another asset that's done that
Mhm.
to where, except for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's running, then and it's like time for Bitcoin to run. I could see, I've seen like assets get, from an overall perspective, go down and Bitcoin's going up, or whenever the bear market starts, right? Like people sell out of those assets into Bitcoin. I've never seen another asset do that, have that type of viral moment. And it was unfortunate because it was a negative thing. It wasn't a good situation. And I thought at the time, okay, well, this is just the Trump coin because it's the first thing. And then you had Melania, and dude, so much damage came out of that. Definitely the least favorite.
100%. Which airdrop do you personally think was the most rewarding for users? I guess I
Magic
said
Eden?
XPL. Well, that was 2024
Oh, it
November.
was. Yeah, it was at the late of 2024. That was the last one that felt good to me. But
Well,
XPL probably, you're right. Yeah.
you put $1 in there. You got
Ten
you got
thousand
like
dollars
you got about 8,000 tokens, and then at one point it was $1.50 per coin. So you were looking really, and you had plenty of time to dump them. Like it's not like it was
Yeah.
like you had to dump them right at the top. No, you had like a good week or two to dump those coins. But yeah, I think XPL. What's yours?
Yeah, I mean XPL for this year, there hasn't been any other airdrops that have been significant. Monad was horrible from what I'm hearing, and all these things. And
Yeah,
so, I mean, XPL, I just wish I participated in that one.
dude, we put
20,
$1, bro. Just deposited $1.
yeah, 2024 was airdrop year, but maybe we skip this year and then next year it kicks off that way.
Yeah, and that kind of comes into this. Which airdrop do you personally think was most frustrating? And for me, it was the lack of airdrops.
Lack of airdrops, and the hype around potential airdrops. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There was so much hype about these airdrops, and the MetaMask one, the Libra one, which is same under the same company. I don't even know how they're going to do
yeah,
that. The Abstract one, you know, everybody was pissed about the Monad, the Mega ETH, and all these other ones.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No
like
one
you
wants that
mentioned, the
shit.
only one that people were happy about was XPL. Which is probably why that token Trillions got to 60 million. When you have
Mhm.
people that are happy about like their airdrop, the give back, they're gonna pump something.
I saw one guy, man. He got the 8,000 tokens. He put them all in trillions at like 300, 400K, and he sold that thing at like what was it? Like 40? Dude, he got free
40 million?
tokens, used those free tokens. Yeah, because it got up to like 60 million, I think.
I know, yeah, it did.
So,
damn, dude,
so
what
he
a freaking
made 100x. So he got 8,000 tokens. He turned that into, I think he said he turned his 8,000 tokens into 80,000, or no, I'm sorry, 800,000 XPL tokens, and then he cashed out and left the ecosystem.
Hell yeah.
Like, how do I be like this guy? I still follow him. I'm in his
I mean,
chat now.
looking back,
his next call.
Looking back, it makes a ton of sense though. It's kind of like, why would you stay in a chain that a stablecoin created that's not going to have a lot of degeneracy on it, and just take it off? I mean, like, I don't know. It's just that's a G play right there.
And he did it. Like I checked on it. Like he said it. Like he posted his winnings thing, and I was like, dude, he basically put in, I think he put in $1,000. He got 8,000 free tokens, turned that into 800,000 tokens, and then bounced, which was over like $1.2 million.
Woo!
Which project do you think had the best comeback story of 2025? I think he said this earlier, so this is easy. I think both Zcash.
Yeah, on the largest scale, I think Zcash. I would give honorable mention. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm probably a little bit biased on that, but like, I think Merlin had a really good bounce back this year. But from a larger scale, like, for sure, Zcash is the one.
Yeah, I think you're right though. I think you got to put Merlin in there. Merlin was 7 cents. It was looked at as dead. It was looked like it was going to zero, and then everyone really changed their tune on it. It's about to get listed on potentially Coinbase, right? Because it's on.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
so
that's usually what happens with the follow up. But Zcash's story, I feel like it sucks because I know it was manipulated up, right? But I mean, in crypto,
was it manipulated up, or was it just a mass adoption by Bitcoin maxis?
I think it was manipulated up. I think you had to get like all the Bitcoin maxis corralled together to get them on board with it.
They're probably all in one big group chat, bro.
Yeah, they probably are. They probably are, right? And I mean, you just know that like the KOLs were pushing it. The KOLs are pushing it actually to the point where the founding team put a lawsuit out there against, which is so crazy. We're suing you for pumping our coin, but it's like, the using the brand in their marketing and all that stuff. They're suing KOLs for it, but
a privacy coin suing KOLs. That just sounds so contradicting. Which project do you think is the most overhyped in 2025? Most overhyped project? What do you think?
Monad. I think Monad was overhyped. I
think Story Protocol. Like,
so
I feel like
it had moments though of like of being tossed out into the headlines, but it wasn't consistent. Like Monad was like being hyped up by big builders that have been around in the space, like Trader Joe from AVAX was like constantly, can't wait to be on Monad. I don't even think they're on there now. You know what I mean? If they are, they're just not doing anything really. So I felt like Monad was probably the biggest letdown.
Yeah, for sure. Which project or asset do you personally think is the most underrated heading into 2026? Which one is the most underrated project out there?
Underrated.
To me, it was easy. It was Tau. I think Tau is, they just had a halving of a few weeks ago, right? I think this is a $2,000 coin sitting at $220. Like, I really think so.
Yeah.
Agent Hustle, probably. You can throw that in there as well.
Yeah, Agent Hustle like has a big ceiling, of course, right? There's a lot of projects that have like that big ceiling. I think we're gonna find out though, like, what those ceilings look like in 2026 whenever we do see how this, ICM and all these things. I think we gotta probably change the nomenclature to something different too, like not ICM, because the ICM was just so used this year and it was let down. Just maybe TradFi comes over and uses something else, but yeah, those type of smaller projects have a big upside. So this says underrated heading. I think maybe I would pick like the class of RWAs. I think even though they had a lot of success, they're just not talked about a lot. So I think they're underrated still. You know what I mean?
What going in. You keep saying this RWA stuff, but like,
I couldn't even name you 5 RWA projects besides
But-
Ondo.
Yeah, but if you look at the percentage of gain, they're winning, right? So you know, when I hear RWAs, I'm thinking of, you know, these financial products that are being tokenized, right? You know, whether that's going to be options contracts, whether that's going to be bonds, whatever.
I mean,
But there's,
treasury bills, like, I mean,
there's so many different things you can tokenize.
Circle, Theo,
It-
Spike. I don't even know any of these companies are.
That's the problem with crypto Twitter, my friend, is that, and look, we are integrated with crypto Twitter. Like, that's, you know, you guys
But
are
do you
watching
want to
from
be
here.
involved with treasury bonds?
I mean, I'm not saying that like they're fun. I'm not saying that they're fun, right? What I am saying is that like they had the largest gain for a reason, and I think that they continue with that next year. I think that they continue with that next year.
I don't know.
Are they still
man.
number one by sector?
My market cap, smart contract platform. So it was number one. RWA is probably RW is not even in the top 20, 30.
Where did we see that? Because we saw that where there was a percentage.
Yeah, RWA is
You pulled
here
it
is,
up.
47th, 10 billion.
Yeah, so I mean, even though they're not like, I guess, what's at the very top? You said smart contracts?
Smart layer ones, basically. Layer one, smart contract platforms, proof of work, a World Liberty 5 portfolio, proof of stake, made in USA, stable coins, exchange.
What question is this? Most underrated, right?
Yeah, the most underrated going into 2026.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe like the stablecoin infrastructure too. Then, like, you know, the products that are coming out of that, it's boring stuff.
So boring. I don't.
It's
even wanna be
boring.
part
I
of
mean,
that.
it's boring, but it is. Look,
I like innovation. Like, I don't really see stable coins just being tokenized as innovation.
Well, no, they're going to come up with yield bearing products. You know,
you already have a yield bearing product.
I know, but
they're just going to copy DeFi and it's just copy and paste. That's not innovation. That's taking what we already had and branding it as TradFi.
But it's the money that flows into it, right? So like the capital that is going to continually flow into stable coins is going to be huge. You know,
yeah,
it is boring though. Like, what else can you think of? What's underrated in this that's going to head into
easily how that ecosystem? Honestly, I think layer one blockchains.
So I think Tau has a little bit of a threat, and I think it's because people can start to you know, have their AI basically on their local server, right? They don't need yet. You absolutely can. Yeah, you can, especially with like NVIDIA's coming. They already have products that you can do it with that makes it more powerful. And so it's kind of like,
the problem is how can they read your compute?
What do you mean?
Like, so you need to give
connected
access
to the internet.
Yeah, but I don't think you can run something that actually gives compute to the network.
To what network? You have your own compute is through your server, through your local server. You're using your own compute.
We're talking about you're talking about how to mine Tau, right?
No, I'm saying like Tau's like incentive mechanism a lot is that like these subnets are going to be giving compute to people, right? Like, isn't that how it works? Or like they get the compute from Tau?
You give your compute to the project uses it.
Okay, but the project can now create their own compute, right? I mean, they would have to probably
using. You know how Jake right now he's paying inference cost.
Yeah.
Right. So the whole point of Tau is there's no inference cost because people are giving it to you for free, but they're getting rewarded with your token, your alpha token, and the Tau.
So
instead of giving your compute to Bitcoin and it's being, you're trying to chase that lucky number and hit the block, you're basically giving your compute to Tau, and Tau's just taking it and giving it to all these alpha groups, the subnets. Yeah. So you're giving it, you know what I mean? So you can't give it through your local.
I know, but like, couldn't these alpha?
You'd have to create
the alpha groups are the ones that are looking for the compute, right? Couldn't they?
They want to use it, yeah.
Can't they have create their own compute?
That was the whole point of Tau. The whole point of Tau.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's the threat. I think it could be, in the future.
Well, it's free. They're not paying for it. That's the difference. So right now, if you want your own compute, you got to pay for it. You have to go to these data centers and stuff.
Well,
you actually have to pay for it.
depending on how much compute you need, you could create it on your local server, right?
Well, dude, you can't create the amount of compute that these projects are looking for.
I mean,
Like,
I'm just saying
they're trying to create their own
that,
ChatGPTs
so
and
there
stuff.
was a whole kind of headline about AI companies that create, you know, compute and stuff like that, like being threatened by this, that people, you know, being able to create it on their local servers and stuff. Now, obviously, if you're going to scale, you're going to need more and more. And so
think about that. You have 10,000 people giving their full compute to these Tau servers, right? Like, I mean, you're basically giving a data center to Tau, like just through normal people coming together and peer to peer, right? Like,
yeah.
that's incredible. That's really incredible. And you're building a data center, a decentralized data center. It's wild.
I feel like the chatter around Tao's definitely calmed down a lot. You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. AI is just not hot right now though either.
But why
X402 kind of
not?
came out. Because NVIDIA and stuff's cooled down. Like that you know, that
Well,
whole
I'm
sector as well is, you know,
yeah,
it's
but AI was hot because of the potential of what it could do. You know what I
AI's
mean?
hot 'cause
And I
NVIDIA was
see
going up.
and I see the potential of what it can do. So to
Yeah.
me, I feel like the hype is warranted there. I don't know.
I think it's underrated by far. I think there's not
Yeah.
enough. I think it's way underrated, and I think we're going to see a huge price movement for sure. Which product or asset do you personally think is the most overrated heading into 2026? For me, it was Midnight. I think Midnight is
They've been
terrible.
bouncing back recently.
I'm not talking about price action. I just mean just think that they're just another Cardano, and they're just a Cardano without the community. I just think I think it's completely overhyped. I think we don't even talk about Midnight at the end of this year, at the end of next year.
Yeah, I think it's the celebrity and meme coin meta that like
Yeah.
has it lost the sustainability. There's no staying power with them.
Well,
So-
celebrity. I mean, what do you consider a celebrity? I mean, Nick Shirley is technically a celebrity.
Well, I'm considering like Neo's launch or Neon's
Oh,
launch.
okay.
Sorry, Neon's
Yeah.
launch, right? That kind of stuff. It's like, and also memes in general, right? The no
Yeah.
staying power has been basically the theme for memes this second half of this year.
Yeah, for sure. And the final question is, what is your single biggest personal takeaway or lesson? We kind of talked about this earlier, but just kind of wrapping us all in a bow. What do you think?
That you have to play the narratives like very strategically and just be on top of it, right? Because they don't matter if you can't manage risk. At the end of the day, you know, I feel like 2025 was tested the most with that. And we've known these type of situations to happen in the past, but you almost have a timer in your head if you have any experience in the space. This year, the timer was all messed up. It was just constantly going off, going back on, going off, going back on. So it's you know, the narratives for crypto have always been the main theme, but now you just got to be more and more strategic and improve your skill set with them to be able to enter and exit.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Risk management is kind of what mine was too. Do not go all in anymore. Like, that's my biggest thing is like, I need to make sure at all times that I have cash on the side, whether that means like taking profit more just to make sure that the cash is still there. You know what I mean? I cannot and will not keep going through the same path of just being all in all the time. I think that really needs to change, but that was my biggest personal takeaway.
And Stan says snake oil salesman exposed in 2025 wrap up. Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
I feel like there were more in previous cycles because like there was more opportunity for snake oil salesmen to come out and say, "Hey, we're building the best metaverse or we're building the best thing." Like, you can't do that whenever there's no money.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of comments here. Stan says and base upgrade. Solana Seeker and base upgrade. Myself says, what can beat the 100 of algorithmic trader systems spread across major sexes and dexes?
I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
You gotta try to, you know, build your own, and you know, even if you like these algorithmic systems, no one's gonna beat these, right? But these are constantly beating the retail players, so you got to be, you know, a small little one that can beat the retail players, right? So I think it's kind of like if you can't beat them, you got to join them in some sort of fashion, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Rick G.
Rick
What's up, OnChain
G.
Revolution, man? My guy, I appreciate you. Myself says MetaMask, not airdrop, was the biggest disappointment. So I'm actually getting an airdrop in January from all my points.
Really?
I looked into it though. It's not going to be much. Like I got like 56,000 points right now. And I asked ChatGPT, I said, you know, with the $30 million airdrop that is happening, how much can I like you know be safe of saying? And it was like between like $700 and $1,000. I was like,
They're nothing.
I worked 4 years for that, you know what I mean? But it is good, but I'll take it. So MetaMask is doing an airdrop in January of the Lena token, which is their blockchain.
Linea,
the
yeah.
consensus Linea, the blockchain, and they're also doing a mask. So your points, it's like your point, you know, because you still want to continue your points because after the Lena airdrop, you're also going to be getting the mask airdrop. That's supposed to be a lot bigger. So we'll see what happens with that. Lucky Lukey says GM, congrats to WebJo. Yeah, let's kind of get into that real quick. Thank you, Lucky Lukey. So over the course of this year, we have done something that no channel has done. We did a first challenge that lasted 365 days. I just want to congratulate everyone who participated. You guys are absolutely awesome. We did want to do a second and third prize, but honestly, guys, like we just can't right now. But guarantee WebJo locked it in his Bitcoin frog. You know, we sent it to him yesterday or the day before. So shout out to WebJo. Lucky Lukey, man, you came in a close second, dude. Really appreciate you and everything you bring to the show. But you guys participated all year long, and it's been awesome. We're not going to do one next year because of the way YouTube now deletes the comments. The last month has been really rough for this I even stopped even kind of looking because it was always just like you guys would put it on and it would erase it every day. Every day it would erase it. And it was hard to like, how am I supposed to pick? You know what I mean? It was just, I don't know.
Well, the lead, we did the math, so there was no chance for anybody.
There was no chance.
Win.
Yeah, like we could catch up to WebJo, like even with the month. That's why I was just like, you know, he'd have to win every single day in December, and WebJo won a few times, so that kind of canceled that out. But yeah, so WebJo, definitely congratulations, you my friend. Myself says that's hard to say because great tech doesn't always equal. Yeah, I mean ICP is great tech, but no one uses the damn thing. Anyone heard of Tomini?
I think it's probably a Monad project because I think Jason is a Monad guy, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, he is.
I'll definitely check it out. Look, I mean, and this is that's a perfect like follow up to myself's comment there. Like Monad tech wise, I think it's phenomenal, but how they handled the launch, not too phenomenal. Do they have a chance to bounce back? Absolutely. Pretty much anybody does that hasn't committed like a hardcore crime in our space.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's get into the ready for the crypto and Bitcoin price action. A little later than normal, but I didn't want to like stop the questions halfway through.
Yeah, before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like for us. As always, you guys are awesome. And subscribe to the channel and follow us on X as well at OnChain Rev. And shout out to our Pump audience as well as Zora. We're going to have an announcement probably next week about some stuff with that. We truly do believe in the CCM meta. We work hard, and you guys are awesome for supporting us. But and if you are interested in getting that banner down there, if you're a builder, head over to pyro.buzz and you can figure out how to win that placement there. But yeah, we're going to get in some Bitcoin price action right now. Let me pull down the chart or pull up
real
the chart.
quick before you do that. Like, so if you guys are guys, like, it's not expensive to get this banner. You can go to Pyro and get it for like a couple $100 bucks.
It actually just burns. Yeah.
It just burns the Zora token. We don't even get the money, right? Yeah. So if you guys want that banner down there, that's just, you can put anything, honestly. You could probably put F Shizzy if you wanted to.
Well, like, let's not go there.
Honestly, dude,
let's burn
this token. You could. I'm just saying, the Pyro guys are okay with it. You could. So go over to Pyro.buzz, and if you have, I don't know, if you have a construction company and you want it there, you can really put anything there. So something to do. We're doing with Pyro.
Yeah, and let's jump right here into the Bitcoin price action, guys. For the, I mean, like, just this is perfect, like, you know, fashion for us to end 2025 with a dump, right? You know, one thing there's a lot of these prediction bets as well that are happening with Bitcoin right now, and you know, there's more potential for price. I don't want to say manipulation, but you know, wanting for it to push up or down. So I don't know. 2026 can be interesting for Bitcoin. Maybe it'll be more of a hyper focus on alts. I think that would be great, right? But let's take a look here. You can see we just started to dump. Not just started to dump. We started to dump. Well, kind of recently, 2 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago at 9 a.m. Eastern. And we just got down here not long ago into the oversold territory. So it's not looking super great. But again, basically just, par for the course here, it seems like, to finish the year. So we need to start seeing this crack a little bit. Again, I changed my tune about 2 days ago to finish the year with some strength because it just was, I'm optimist, but like, god dang, like it was just like my optimism has been really kicked hard this year. But I got to stay true to who I am, and I feel like we're gonna have a good next year, but this year probably not gonna finish the way with an aggressive uptrend. But first we need to see this start to break down. So for right now, I'm expecting further downtrend, right? We're sitting at 87,500 right now, and we're going to pull this up and kind of see where we are support and resistance wise. Going back to 6 a.m. Eastern time data, I mean, the resistance is really dominating in all these areas. This is a pretty high volume area. Resistance, total domination right here. Support does come in at this really weak area. It's probably what's kind of kept it up here. It does ping pong back up and then it just gets slammed dumped back down. So I'm expecting some more downtrend for the rest of the day. Nothing crazy bleed out. Maybe we do. Maybe we get one last bleed out for 2025. But as of right now, it does seem like there's going to be a consistent downtrend. Maybe we get to 86.5-ish, breaking the 86, break below 87, and then we'll see what happens from there. So that is what I'm seeing for the next couple hours, at least for Bitcoin. For the 4 hour looks like we're just starting the sell pressure session here. And so it's not super strong, but if we do kind of lose control, the support loses control on the hour chart, then we could start to see this show some strength, right? That would look like something like breaking down and getting below 86, going into $85,000 for Bitcoin, right? Then we'll start to see some bigger red candles here on the MACD. As of right now, though, it is just showing it's getting started, so nothing to be super worried about. I think we need to pay more attention to that hour chart to see if that actually happens there. So that is the 4 hour chart. The daily looks lethargic, right? We had this extension of buy pressure, but it's lethargic right now. It's just not really doing anything, just sideways. And I think we continue that for the rest of today. And I don't think just because tomorrow is going to be January 1st, 2026, that we just have this thrust up. I think it's going to take some time. Obviously, people got to get their minds kind of readjusted as well. But remember, today's the last day technically for tax harvesting, right? So, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But that is Bitcoin right there. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum. Ethereum on the hour chart, just stuck in this do nothing zone still, as you can see on the hour chart, following Bitcoin's, basically trajectory here. It's not showing as many red candles on the MACD, but I assume if Bitcoin does break down and get to that 86.5, we'll see a follow here from Ethereum. It is below $3,000 though, and so we could see a continuation to the downtrend if Bitcoin has that trajectory, right, for breaking down further. And then the 4 hour, we're going to close, it seems like, if we do have that downtrend, we'll close out of this. And then the daily for ETH is, looking not bad. ETH dailies is definitely something that's interesting. Very interesting. It's showing more life for sure than what we see with Bitcoin. And we did talk about the smart contract volume, creation volume that's happening on Ethereum. We talked about that yesterday. Something to keep right there. Just put it in the back of your brain and say, what's happening? Are institutions prepping for something? Tom Lee and his whole group, are they prepping for something in January? Because we could see some strength from Ethereum if these institutions really want to run it up and they're going to start doing business on Ethereum. I mean, because that's what it seems like they're preparing for. They're going to be doing business on Ethereum. They're, for the most part, a lot of these TradFi institutions, they want to do it on Ethereum. So they're picking Ethereum to do it. So we'll see what happens there. Taking a look here at the crypto bubbles in the top 100, looking like an 80 to 85 to 15% ratio of pulling back here. You see Lit Protocol had a couple of decent days, pulling back 11.2%. They are an interoperability TEE protocol there that helps, get things from Bitcoin to Ethereum and different chains, right? Agent or Emblem Vault uses them in their back end. At midnight, pulling back about 10.2% here. They did have a couple days of green. This is Shizzy's pick for the most disappointing. I can see your perspective with that. Chills. This is weird. I haven't seen them back kind of in anything that they bounced here. 16% pullback. Pomp, to Stan's point, has pulled up here about 6.5%. Then you got Mix. I feel like Mix is so weird. It's just like, you know, not talked about a ton. It's a Aster competitor. It operates on Binance Smart Chain, but it has been green consistently, pulling up 8.3%. Is a perps and leverage DEX there. Then you got your surprise one here, Meme Core up 8.1%.
I seriously thought this thing was going to die. Like,
I mean,
right?
There has to be like just some like companies or something that are just keeping this looking strong, you know, because like it's not being talked about a ton. You got IP Story Protocol here up 9.7% on the day as well. Other than that, across the board, top 100 blue chips pulling back about 2 to 4% is what I'm seeing here. And then we go into the top 200 here, and the top 200 seen River having this explosion of 106%. Luna Classic shows up every like once every week or week and a half. It's up 23.9% here. You got Gomining, interesting name there, up 18.3%. XPL, the plasma token, up 10% there. And FTT up 2%. Everything else pulling back here on average about 3 to 6%. You see Fartcoin pulling back 7.2%. Never good for the trenches. When Fartcoin is pulling back, you see Merlin kind of having a little bit of a pullback here, about 4%, sitting at about 30 cents there. So you are seeing some tokens kind of pull back right now, but it's a little mix, right? But most of them are pulling back, and I think it's just kind of the market sentiment right now. And that is how we are going to end 2025, guys. And that's okay, because we're going to leave it in the rear view.
Please do so. Please leave. Bye. Shout out to Stan with the super chat, man. Really appreciate you. He says, is NVIDIA's DGX Spark worth a look? I guess that's a product from NVIDIA. I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take a look into it. That might be what he was talking about, to where you don't have to use any compute to create your own AI products from a personal level, right? So what I've been doing a lot is using my local server to do things, and that might be something that I get interested in. If I want to create my own AI agent on my personal local server.
You could now. I mean, 100%. Myself says the yearly candle is red. I want to take a look at that real quick.
It is red.
This is, like, space this thing out so you can see this stuff. The yearlies is wild. That's a huge red candle, damn.
Yeah.
Huge green candle, though, in 2024, but this is kind of what it looks like. Get rid of my stupid lines here.
I know, like, whenever you bring it to, like, the yearly, all your little scribbles and stuff look like
giant lines. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it would have to get back to...
It's small, but it's still there.
You'd have to get back to 93 to get a green candle for you. I don't think that happens in the next $6,000 in the next 6 hours.
Man, I would love to see 2013 or 2012 and 2013 as well.
I could probably just grab another one. Let me see.
I don't think it's on there, though.
There we go.
Oh, is it? Which one is that?
Comparison. It goes back to 2011.
Is that the Coinbase one? Or not the Coinbase one? Which is that the which chart are you looking at?
Bitstamp.
Bitstamp. Okay.
So yeah, this goes back to $260 Bitcoin in 2011 and $140 But this was you have to really zoom in to kind of get a construction. But yeah, see, it was just like 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 15, 16, 17. So, but yeah. That's your yearlies here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at kind of how often that yearly red candle comes about.
It happens about once a year.
No, not once a year. I'm talking about like once every 4 years. Is it once every? You know what I mean? Those are yearly candles, right? So like if you look at all the years accumulative, like, is there a trend that like it happens once every 4 years? There's a red candle. You get what I'm
It
saying?
looks like, yeah, it looks like 3 red, 2 red.
So there you go.
Mm.
It's different this time, and it actually
Mhm.
is different this time.
Well, if you go back to here, right, 2012 green, green, red, green, green, green,
My
red,
stuff says
green, green, green,
BLX is
red.
the oldest. Goes back to the oldest one. BLX.
BLX.
Yeah, I don't see him.
Bitcoin liquid index. Yeah, I don't really know. But yeah. So that's our show, man. We're wrapping things up here for the year. We will not be doing a show tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to take the day off. We want you guys to do as well, and then we'll be back here on Friday. Friday's going to be a fun little show. We're going to do predictions. What we kind of so we weren't going to do, but we're going to do it on Friday. Just kind of, but I'm going to track it though, and see who's more right, me or Yagobi. We're going to do a little list and kind of see. I'm going to have a list of 20 questions, and we're going to see who is right, who's wrong, and if we're both right, we're both wrong, same thing. But I can't wait for you guys to join us there. I just want to say again, really appreciate you guys, man. I'm going to have to go. I got to go find some things for my kids to break because Party City is usually Party City in Philly, and now all Party City's going. So I don't know where to even go to get New Year's crap at. So I got to figure that crap out. But really appreciate every single one of you guys, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. Without you guys, we couldn't do the show, and we're very appreciative to you guys for supporting us, right? And then Stan says Agent Hustle Friday. So not this Friday. I don't think we'll have that probably
We're
for a
done
bit.
with
Yeah,
Hustle.
but those guys will jump on every once in a while.
Put it out there. Like they came to us and they said they're worried about their runway and they're no longer going to be partnered with us. So as of tomorrow, we are no longer partnered with the Agent Hustle. So you won't really be seeing those guys on the show in that Friday segment anymore. So Agent Hustle is hanging with Hustle is done. But we love those guys. We definitely wish them the best. If any way we can help them, we would definitely help them for sure. But the theme of this year, especially the last couple months, was teams worrying about their runway, and that's why we are really appreciative of Merlin Chain and Jeff and Lewis and that group from Omnity with Satsman. So there are only two partners right now. We hope to bring more. If you guys know somebody who would be interested in that, then we would be highly, highly thankful for that. So just let us know. But we're going into 2026 with 2 partners and side hustles. So
yeah. I mean, look, Jake was one of the first people to jump on our show, and I've said that multiple times. They will always be kind of, we're working with them in different ways too. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, they introduced us to Pyro.
We're not working with them. They put us in a room with the guys from Pyro.
Yeah, they introduced us to Pyro though. I mean, and like the thing is that, like I said, the door is always open for them to hop on the show and all that great stuff. So I mean, who cares about all that stuff, right? So at the end of the day, it's like
I care about that stuff.
At the end of the day, it's you guys, without you guys, the show wouldn't be here at all. So we appreciate your support the most.
But without partners, the show's not here. So
and so we're gonna end the show now based on our partners, right? So this is the last day that we'll do the emblem side of things, and we appreciate them for sure. So if you're looking to jump your Bitcoin ordinals or NFTs over to Ethereum, you got to use Emblem Vault. Emblem Vault is the best. They've been doing this since 2021. They also have been building on Bitcoin since 2023. Or sorry, not 2023, 2013. But you can take your Taproot Wizard over to the Gandhi application, which is the largest borrowing and lending application on Ethereum. And yeah, you got to use them, guys. They use Lit Protocol to do this, to make it possible. But also they have one of the best AI products in the space with agenthustle.ai, right? And Agent Hustle will, basically be able to do a lot of functionalities for you on your behalf. You can ask it to find some low cap gems in the Solana, Hedera, BSC ecosystem. It'll bring back some low cap gems for you. You can also do conditional trades within Agent Hustle as well. And there's a lot of stuff that they're going to be updating, cross-chain swaps, all types of great stuff, right? So head over to agenthustle.ai. You can use the free subscription right now. If you want to do a paid one, use Agent Hustle's token to pay, because you get a 30% discount. I mean, it's just a smart thing to do, right? And then they have the migrate.fund product as well. And that is a product that will help you migrate your token and community if you launch the token on Solana to another launchpad, or just to manage your own LPs, right? And so they're currently in their 3rd cohort. So they basically created this meta, and they're the experts at it. So head over to migrate.fun if you're interested. Reach out to the team, see if you can get on that next cohort. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. They have their Wizard version 2.0 that will guide you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem. You can actually use it to swap for cross-chain tokens like Solana and BNB tokens. All you got to do is have some Merlin Chain Bitcoin in your Merlin Chain wallet, which it can be a Bitcoin wallet like Unisat and Xverse, or a MetaMask wallet on the EVM side of things. And it can also do DeFi swaps within Merlin Chain's ecosystem and stake for you on your behalf as well. And speaking of staking, they have a proof of stake security model that will, you can participate in 3 ways. The first way is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. And the first staking vault ended September 30th. They got 17% APR for their stakers. The second staking vault's going to end in about 8 days. So you can either wait for the next one. You can jump in now, earn for 8 days, and then, go to the next one. But they shoot for this same APR range between 8% and 21%. And so that's how you can participate. That way you get paid out in Bitcoin, by the way, which is an amazing product there. And then the 2 ways you can stake with the Merlin Chain token is the flexible, which is a day-to-day. You earn 15% APR, and you can claim your rewards every single day. If you do want to withdraw out of the day-to-day one, there is a 7-day cooldown period. Just so you know, before you try to withdraw, and then you'll get your tokens back. And then the last option is the bonded option, which is a 6-month lockup period, and you earn 45% APR in that one, right? But you are locked up for 6 months, but you can claim your rewards every single day. So awesome that they allow you guys to kind of pool the rewards there. You can kind of do whatever you want with them. And then, look out for Merlin Chain, any updates. They just got listed on the perps side of Coinbase. So a lot of people are anticipating other stuff over there as well. Head over to merlinchain.io today. And then our last partner here is the satsman.fun platform here, which is a Bitcoin Runes Layer 1 launchpad that utilizes ICP's tech stack to make the UX and UI better. Everybody wants that good UX and UI while trading Bitcoin Layer 1 assets, and they have created this, right? So they have their 2 Genesis tokens right now that are live on richswap.io. If you go there, and you can see 7Z and Landwolf, right? You can go swap for them right now. They're going to open this platform up to the public to be able to launch your own tokens around the middle of January. So make sure you guys are watching our videos, because we're going to do a tutorial and launch a couple tokens with you guys. Should be very, very fun. But yeah, there's also an educational piece that we put out about the importance of Bitcoin Layer 1 assets for the future. You can go to our YouTube channel and our library to check that out as well. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. As always, give us a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io. Some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering a space, please send them our website. We really feel like it help them get started and code up to where we are today. Creator Capital Markets, CCM, learn all about this, how Zora and Pump Fund are redefined in creator economy. Definitely an article you need to read, guys. Check it out. They're 2 to 3 minute reads. You can knock them out very quickly. And we have so many more here. Creator Capital Markets, the Merlin Chain, Omni, and so many more. You got to check out everything here at OnChainRevolution.io. And if you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend NordVPN. Use our link here. Hit that button. You guys can lock it in for about $70 for 2 years. You get about 27 months total. You get that. You guys are good. You can use Hyperliquid. You can use pretty much anything that geo-blocks you. I love MEXC. It is my on and off ramp when it comes to going from place to place, right? From Bitcoin to Ethereum, Solana, whatever. I use MEXC, it's the cheapest by far. So you guys can use everything with a VPN. Nothing geo-blocks you anymore. Get a VPN. And don't be launching coins without a VPN on, guys. Because if one of those coins take off, they can figure out who you are by your IP address and actually lead them to your home address. You don't want to do that. It's stupid. Make sure you have a VPN on when you're doing anything in crypto, especially DeFi. That's the thing too. If you're using crypto and you're doing large DeFi amounts and you don't have a VPN on, you're being silly, because it could all be tracked back to you, and they know exactly where your money is. They know it's in Aave. They know it's in Maker. They know wherever it is, because it's all tracked on chain. The on chain's not always the best thing, but definitely check a VPN out. And if you guys need a ledger, or a hardware wallet whatsoever, go to this one. Get a Ledger. Ledger is the absolute best. We have an affiliate link with them. Click there. You guys can, it'll actually walk you in at everything they have. Don't go to these fake sites. Don't buy off Amazon. Don't buy off eBay. Make sure you're using our link here, because this is how we know that it is 100% safe. It is ledger.com, shop.ledger.com, but make sure you use our link, because that'll give you the discount as well as help the show. But Ledger Nano X, $90, and then you got Ledger Nano S, $59. Definitely check these out right away. And remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. We'll see you guys on Friday.
Peace.
OnChain, 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 OnChain revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.